Why do people in the world invest? I'm talking about worldly people here. Why do they invest? They invest because they expect some revenue. Worldly people never invest in anything nor anyone unless there is revenue for them. The revenue may not be in money. It may be in relief. It may be in social validation. It may be in having a good image portrayed of themselves onto others. Worldly people never invest unless there is something in it for them in the long run. Some only look at a short-term revenue, so they disappear anytime there's no short-term relief for them. Others realize that if they don't comply with whatever's going on, they may face bad consequences later on. For example, they don't want to engage with social activities. And later in the future, when they are in a need, where they need the community, now they don't dare go to the same community they rejected. Because then they need to account why they only value those other people when they need them. So now they cannot ask the community for help because the community is going to confront them. Okay, so you don't want to be rewarded by us, but now we need to be rewarded by you. What is that? So worldly people, they don't want to face those tough circumstances, so they will comply by investing in social activities because they know there's a revenue for them that later, when they are in need and the community needs to stand by their side, the community will be tricked to stand by their side. Because if they comply with social activities and the community does not come to their aid, it will be an embarrassment to the community. So now they have a leverage over the community when they participate with the social activities. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. Worldly people invest when there is revenue for them. Sometimes there is revenue for them, but they don't see it. That's when they are only focused on short-term revenue. Worldly people that are a bit smarter will look at the, I would say, bigger picture. Not that they actually are looking at the bigger picture, but they look a bit beyond and they can see, there is some revenue for me in this if I comply. When there is no revenue for worldly people, neither on the short term nor on the long term, do not expect them to be interested nor to care about it. Let me repeat that. When there is no revenue for a worldling, whether on the short or the long term, do not expect them to be interested. The only way they will be interested if there is no revenue in it for them is if they don't have another choice. So if they're made uncomfortable by repercussions. So if there is domestic violence going on in the community, but to address domestic violence would also imply that people need to face themselves for what they enable in the community, then this is something that will not bring revenue for the worldling. Because to face that they contribute to violence in the community means that they need to acknowledge that they are co-perpetrators of a bad climate that enables domestic violence. That's one thing that they likely don't want to do. The second thing is, if they do admit it, that means now that they've admitted it, so now they're also obliged to change. Because if they admit it and they don't change, then they become a willful perpetrator and everyone can use it against them, and they will bring a toxic and awkward climate with them wherever they are. They don't want it either. So they'll rather avoid the topic so that they don't have to be confronted with themselves. It's only when the domestic violence is so obvious into their face that they can't ignore it, then will they develop a short-term interest to do something about it. Why? Because they have no choice. But if there was no necessity, they wouldn't even be bothered by it. Now, am I saying that worldly people don't have empathy? Yes, they have. Am I saying that they can't be concerned, genuinely concerned with other people? Yes, they can. But many of them are locked up in this black and white thinking. So even though they have the ability to have empathy and have concern for others, because they're stuck in this black and white thinking, they won't. That's a big difference. Am I saying that all worldly people are monsters? No, absolutely not. Just realize that they have this black and white thinking in which the primary thing that's on their mind is their own revenue. Again, some are only into short-term revenue. Others are into the long-term revenue because they think about tomorrow. But whether short or long-term revenue, revenue is what's on the mind of the worldling. That is why you shouldn't be yoked with worldlings. Because when it comes down to it, they will choose the revenue society provides them, because worldly people need society. Without it, they cannot function. So worldlings are focused on the revenue the society provides them in exchange for their loyalty. So worldlings are loyal to society, whether it's mainstream society or whether it's subdivision of society, whatever it is, they are loyal to society. They need to be enabled to get their psychic revenue. So, when you are yoked with worldlings, this was going to happen. You're cool with them, they're cool with you, that's fine. The moment comes that society will put pressure on them to turn on you, and they will turn on you. They may not turn on you on a personal level that they really can't stand you anymore, anything like that, but they will turn on you by highlighting the oppression of society. There's another way people turn on you, when they highlight the oppression of society. Let's say debt collectors are haunting you. Okay? They are sending you letters over and over again, but they have no right to force you into a payment. They can't. So you refuse it every time, and you're doing the right thing. But now you have people who get along with this, this myth in society that if you just do the right thing, that everything will be fine. So now they keep telling you that you need to watch out with those debt collectors. Keep telling you that over and over again. They don't come to you and talk about solutions or how to get rid of them once for always. No, they are under the pressure of society to conform. And because you don't conform in this area by accepting threats of debt collectors, they now will keep highlighting the threats of debt collectors. Why? In the hope that you will forfeit your resistance so that they can feel at ease again. Because they put up with stuff they shouldn't be putting up with. And because they put up with things they shouldn't put up with, they want you to put up with the same things so they are at ease. If they can't get you to put up with the same things that they're putting up with, they will keep suggesting harm on you indirectly by repeating the threats of whatever is threatening you in the hope that you get in line. So when it comes down to it, they will obey their master, who is not Christ. So know this about worldlings. What's on their mind is their own revenue. If their revenue is connected to the community, then of course they will regard the community, because without the community they won't have any revenue. But the sole interest of worldlings is their own revenue. That is what you need to understand. That's why Christ is their enemy. Not that Christ is an enmity towards them, but they are an enmity against Christ. Because when Christ enters the picture, this whole pyramid scheme of them has to stop. It has to be crushed because they can't control Christ. So you will have to be in contact and you will have dealings with worldlings. Just know how their psychology is. If you want a worldling to comply, either he or she should be devoid of options, then they have no choice of what to comply, or they must be triggered by a promise of revenue. If you can trigger them by promising revenue, whether it's social revenue or financial revenue or emotional revenue, whatever type of revenue it is, sometimes it's sexual revenue, whatever revenue you can suggest onto them, if you can promise revenue onto them and they fall for it, then they will comply. Or they should be devoid of options. Do not expect justice from worldlings. Am I saying that all worldlings are reprobate scum? No, they're not. But their thinking is defect. Their attitude is defective. Always remember this. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.